She sits quietly. No crown, no throne, no grand gesture. Just a woman, folded hands, steady gaze, and a faint expression that refuses to settle into certainty. And yet this small portrait has become the most famous painting in human history. Not because it is the largest, not because it is the most colorful, not because it is the most dramatic, but because it feels alive. The Mona Lisa was painted by Leonardo da Vinci between approximately 1503 and 1506 during the Italian Renaissance. Leonardo was not only a painter, but an anatomist, engineer, inventor, mathematician, and philosopher. He dissected human bodies to understand muscles. He studied optics to understand vision. He observed rivers, clouds, rocks, and light with scientific obsession. For Leonardo, painting was not decoration. Painting was an investigation of reality. The woman in the portrait is widely believed to be Lisa Gherardini, the wife of a Florentine merchant named Francesco del Giocondo. The title, Mona Lisa, roughly means Madame Lisa. Yet Leonardo never delivered the painting to the family. He kept it with him for years. He carried it across cities. He continued adjusting it long after it was supposedly finished. This alone suggests something unusual. Leonardo did not treat this as a simple commission. He treated it as an experiment. The composition is deceptively simple. A half-length figure seated before a distant landscape. Her body turned slightly to the side. Her face turned toward us. This subtle twist creates a gentle sense of movement, making her feel present rather than static. Her hands rest one over the other, not clenched, not expressive, calm, contained, balanced. Everything about her posture communicates restraint. No excess, no theatricality, only quiet self-possession. Leonardo pioneered a technique called sfumato, meaning smoky. Instead of using hard outlines, he layered extremely thin glazes of paint to blur edges softly. You cannot find a sharp line separating skin from shadow. Forms melt into one another. This mimics how human vision actually works. Nothing in real life has perfect outlines. The result is a figure that appears to breathe. Her face is built from countless translucent layers, sometimes only microns thick. This slow accumulation of paint creates skin that seems to glow from within, not reflective, illuminated. Her eyes hold one of the painting's greatest illusions. No matter where you stand, they appear to meet yours. Leonardo understood how pupils sit within sockets, how eyelids curve, how light pools in the corners. But more importantly, he understood psychology. He painted not just what eyes look like, he painted what it feels like to be seen. The famous smile is not fixed. Sometimes it appears warm, sometimes distant, sometimes ironic, sometimes sad. This shifting quality comes from Leonardo placing shadow at the edges of the mouth rather than defining the lips clearly. Your brain completes the expression differently depending on where you focus. The smile exists partly in your perception, which means you are co-creating it. This transforms the viewer into a participant. You are not observing Mona Lisa. You are interacting with her. Color choices reinforce this subtlety. Her clothing is muted. Deep browns, soft blacks, earthy greens. No bright jewels, no decorative embroidery. Nothing that draws attention away from her face. Leonardo deliberately stripped away social signals. She is not presented primarily as a rich woman, or a fashionable woman, or even a specific woman. She becomes a human presence, timeless, unanchored to trend. Her skin tones are warm and natural. The shadows are cool and transparent. This temperature contrast creates dimensionality without harshness. The background landscape is strange. Winding rivers, jagged rocks, misty horizons, no identifiable city, no recognizable place. It feels primordial, almost pre-human. Some scholars believe the landscape represents nature before civilization. If so, then Mona Lisa becomes a bridge between wilderness and culture, between chaos and consciousness. The horizon lines on the left and right sides do not align perfectly. This asymmetry subtly destabilizes the scene. Your eye senses imbalance without immediately recognizing it. This gives the painting a quiet tension beneath its calm surface. Nothing is shouting. Everything is murmuring. Why did Leonardo paint this? Because he was obsessed with one question. What is a human? Not biologically, not socially, existentially. Leonardo believed the face was the highest expression of the soul, but he also believed the soul could not be captured through surface appearance alone. So he attempted something radical. He tried to paint inner life, not emotion as performance, but emotion as state. Mona Lisa is not laughing. She is not posing. She is not telling a story. She is simply being. Find her unsettling. We are accustomed to faces performing, smiling for cameras, signaling mood, broadcasting intention. Mona Lisa refuses performance. She offers presence. In the Renaissance, portraits were often symbols of status. Leonardo quietly dismantled this tradition. He created a portrait where psychology outweighs identity, where inner existence outweighs outer label. This aligns with Renaissance humanism, the idea that humans possess inherent worth, complexity, and dignity independent of hierarchy. Not because God crowns them, not because kings elevate them, but because consciousness itself is miraculous. The painting's fame grew gradually. For centuries it was admired, but not mythic. Its explosive global fame came after it was stolen from the Louvre in 1911. Newspapers around the world published reproductions. The mystery amplified. When it was recovered 2 years later, it returned not merely as a painting, but as a legend. Since then, Mona Lisa has become both sacred object and pop icon, reproduced endlessly, parodied, commercialized. Yet strangely, none of this has diminished her gravity. She absorbs meaning without losing herself. Why does it still matter today? Because we live in an age of extreme visibility, billions of faces, infinite images, constant performance, curated identities. And yet loneliness is epidemic. Mona Lisa offers an opposite mode of existence: stillness, opacity, interior life. She reminds us that we do not owe the world constant explanation, that mystery is not failure, that privacy can be powerful. She also reflects our desire to find ourselves in others. People project emotions onto her: joy, melancholy, kindness, arrogance, serenity. None of these interpretations are definitively correct. All of them are partially true, because Mona Lisa functions like a psychological mirror. What you see says as much about you as it does about her. Leonardo once wrote that painting is a mental thing. The Mona Lisa is not a record of a woman. It is a record of Leonardo's meditation on humanity. And now, centuries later, it becomes a record of our own meditation. What's in it for us? Permission to slow down, permission to exist without performing, permission to be complex without explanation. In front of Mona Lisa, productivity disappears, achievement disappears, utility disappears. What remains is presence. Two consciousnesses facing each other across time. She looks, you look back. No dialogue, no resolution, only shared existence. Perhaps that is the true masterpiece. Not the smile, not the technique, not the fame, but the quiet realization that to be human is not to be loud, impressive, or easily defined. It is to be layered, contradictory, unfinished, and endlessly interpretable. 500 years later, Mona Lisa still sits there, not revealing her secret, not asking to be solved, simply reminding us that mystery is not a problem. It is a condition of being alive.